In universes, there are 12 symbols that are used as deck building restrictions that determine the different combinations of cards you can put in your deck. Most typically, cards have 3 symbols on them. Some break this rule and some have the infinity symbol, which isn't even a symbol anymore. It just means this card ignores the symbol restrictions of the format you're playing in. In the current standard format, you pick one symbol on your starting character and every card has to share that symbol in your deck. But the question we're here to answer is, which symbol is the best? First off, to answer that question, we have to understand what makes a symbol the best. Is it simply having the best deck in the format utilize that symbol? Is it having that symbol appear the most often in a top cut? Does it come from having the biggest variety of characters succeeding on that symbol? Or is it simply about having the best cards despite the decks focused on that symbol failing to find success? For me personally, I think I put a lot more stock into individual cards on a symbol than most people. For a long time, I felt like water cards are just pushed to the moon and back, but for some reason, they don't come together in a successful deck as often as we might think. A lot of that has to do with the power of the characters, and as time goes on, a little more weight is put into the strength of a character's abilities across the board than in the past. But what good are these super strong pieces if they can't come together in a meaningful way? I do think by examining top cut data, going based off total symbol representation is the most fair and accurate way to determine this, especially since the argument of outlier characters over-representing a symbol falls apart just a little bit when we see those outlier characters typically have a decent symbol spread, and I don't want the discourse to view symbol variety in a negative light. Characters being played on a variety of symbols should mean that they have different strategies and speak to the viability of each symbol. So, left to the eyeball test, I'll give you the 3 symbols I think are the strongest, and you can tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, or share and subscribe if I'm right. First up, in no particular order, is the Chaos symbol. I think this one is not a shocker to a lot of people. I think this symbol might look better than it is because it's been pretty good for so long, but I do think it's kind of spearheaded by some outlier characters. While Tokoyami and Amajiki can feel like they don't share too much in common with other Chaos symbol decks, you can't deny it has some of the best statted cards in the game. Pretty much any Chaos deck can put up a lively defense in any format after the reboot era, and its win conditions, for lack of a better term, have been absolutely top notch, often carrying all 3 of their symbols at one time or another. Combine that with Chaos's specialty being to ramp one of the more precious resources in momentum, and you've got yourself a mighty contender. Chaos also has a sub-theme of getting bonuses to checks, and that has been a consistently powerful boon to any deck. Combine that with solid card draw, wonderful interactivity with rival cards, and a lot of repeatable buffs, and Chaos will be eating good for a while. The second symbol I want to talk about is the Void symbol. This symbol at times has been the absolute pits, and oftentimes its control themes have to be tuned more on the safe side, favoring longer, more drawn out game plans with high speed, low damage poke. A lot of the power on this symbol comes from action cards, which can be quite clunky to deal with, especially for lower hand sizes. When it does get access to ramping foundations and momentum though, it fires on all cylinders. Void retains its access to quality 4 difficulty cantrips even after the Mop Strike ban, and it's got a lot of the best characters from the previous couple sets in my opinion. But what is really going to put Void in the driver's seat is its access to cancels. The format has undoubtedly slowed down, even if it's just by a single turn, but that will give Void the time it needs to compensate for the heavy costs associated with the cancels it has. Masho Concealment being a reusable cancel is going to help Void keep pace now that repeatable bonuses are on 4 checks or with some condition that usually isn't active until the second or greater attack. And so these big impactful one-time use foundations that people are playing instead will be subject to the oppression the Void symbol embodies. I also think you have to watch out for Acid Splash here in the near future, but I'll save speculating for a different video. And third, but in no particular order, is the life symbol. I think this will be a little surprising for people since Order and Death are kind of getting snubbed here. They're certainly the two that round out my top 5, but I think the life symbol is ready to take over the metagame once again. Similar to the Void symbol, it really benefits from the slower pace and access to key momentum ramp. And now with cards like Canister Strike and Net Launcher, its ability to curate the stage is better than ever before. Add in some of the best cards talked about for previous reasons, and life is looking like its old self again. Now, where it's lacking compared to previous formats is in the card draw department. Life has excellent card advantage tools, but they're mostly about getting you into that late game board development rather than letting you go full monkey mode. Add into that the ally package on life, providing you with both extra foundations and momentum, and now some of the best stats around, and it's difficult to find a real weakness on the life symbol beyond leveraging early aggression to punish those early turns where it needs to get itself established. But I'm sure you have a favorite symbol and one you think is the best. These are of course just my opinions, and certainly subject to change as more cards come out and as more deck lists from events get shared. So stay tuned for what I think are the worst symbols soon, and let me know which one is your favorite symbol down below.